We're going to be going over my week 2 match versus Prado, aka the coach of the Golden State Wartortles. This is the first time I've ever played him before, obviously being my first time in the CPC. He definitely has a very threatening team, which I'm going to go over in a sec, but first, let me just, I want to just switch sides really quick and reset that. Okay, so, yeah, we're facing Prado. His team consists of Necrozma, Infernape, which is his Z-Movemon, Celebi, Tentacruel, Scissor, Licky, Cofagrigus, Diancie, his Mega, Noivern, Golem, and Spinda. As you guys can see, these are the 6 that he brought. Kind of surprised that I didn't see the Mega Diancie, but it did also make sense that he didn't bring it because I have solid answers to it. A little surprised not to see the Scissor as well, just because I thought that it matched up decently once he could weaken things like the Celesteela, which I felt he was able to do with things like Noivern. But he did not bring that. But we do, this is our first divisional match, so we are going to play him again down the line. So I expect him to possibly bring Scissor next time, depending on what kind of team he builds. So first up we have Mega Latios, of course, definitely the MVP so far for us, picking up 4 kills in week 1. And on this Latios we have Roost, HP Fire, Shadow Ball, and Psychic. This allows me to hit everything on his team, either neutrally or super effectively, and just gives me great overall coverage of his team. I can check the Infernape if it's not Scarf. I can do a lot of damage to things like the Celebi and the Cofagrigus with Shadow Ball. I can do a lot of damage to Tentacruel with Psychic. Noivern obviously doesn't resist Psychic, and Licky is probably going to be his main answer to it. Which is why we have our next Pokemon in Heracross, which Licky is really his only reliable Latios switch-in, which even then it needs like Toxic to beat things like Calm Mind. So Heracross is here because it pressures his Licky immensely, and it's here with an Expert Belt, this week with an Adamant Nature, carrying Close Combat, Mega Horn, Knockoff, and Earthquake. This just allows me to hit his entire team very hard. Earthquake for things like the Tentacruel, which resists my double stabs, Knockoff for things like the Cofagrigus, and Close Combat Mega Horn to hit everything else very hard. And with the Adamant Nature and the Expert Belt boosting up some of our moves, it's going to be very nice. So next up we have Suicune here, sub Calm Mind, Scald Ice Beam, doing a bit of speed creeping. Like if you wanted to put like 16 EVs into his something like his Tentacruel, I sped crept that a tiny bit, just so I can get subs off on it. And sub Calm Mind with Scald and Ice Beam allows me to do a lot of damage to his team. With pressure, I can pressure stall things like the Licky and also sub up on it, allowing it to not Toxic me. It's also a nice check to Infernape as long as it's not like Life Orb Grass Knot. And Scald and Ice Beam just allows me to do a lot of damage to his team. Like even if his Tentacruel is like Haze, we can Scald that, burn it possibly, and just start weakening it. And that's pretty much it for Suicune. So next up we have Crocodile, rocking a Choice Scarf set this week to be able to check things like his Mega Diancie without a Rock Polish, Infernape, non-Scarf, and Noivern. Also Celebi, I can check that as long as it's not Scarf. So we have Knockoff, Pursuit, Earthquake, and Stone Edge. Knockoff and Earthquake are pretty self-explanatory. They are my stabs that hit his team very hard. He doesn't have many resistances to those stabs. Actually, he doesn't have any resistance to those stabs, so my mistake. Stone Edge is there to, it hits things like Noivern for an Oko after rocks, and Noivern at this point it was becoming a very huge threat to my team, and if I had a way to check it, I would definitely want to use that. And Pursuit is there just in case, like if he wants to scout for Scarf on Crook, like versus Celebi, I could possibly Pursuit there. I just didn't really need any other coverage other than my main stabs, but Stone Edge is going to help versus the Noivern. So next up we have our Torterra, and obviously we have something like the Celesteela to handle his Mega Diancie. But we did bring Torterra this week, not only for our Mega Diancie counter, but it's also our rocker this week, and it does force out Mega Diancie, allowing us to get up our rocks. And it's just rocking Toxic, Stealth Rock, Synthesis, and Earthquake. He doesn't have much to take Earthquakes, and what does take Earthquakes, like the Noivern and the Celebi, I can Toxic those. And obviously just get my rocks for the Noivern, and just general chip damage, as it does neutral or super effective on everything that he brought. And last up we have Celesteela, which is rocking a more defensive nature, but also some Spadef with the Akaberry, and this helps me handle both his Noivern and his Scissor very well. I have Protect, Leech Seed, Flamethrower, and Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam does a lot of damage to the Noivern, and Flamethrower does a lot of damage to the Scissor. So it's basically here to patch up the last weaknesses I had to things like Scissor and Noivern. So I think that's about it for the, this team, or going over my team. So let's just get into the battle. So he leads off with his Noivern, as I lead off with my Crook. I just thought Crook was a solid lead because I could just I get off a lot of damage on a lot of things, and if you go off with Infernape, I could just scout for the Scarf by going into something like my Suicune. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but Infernape was a Z-move user. But right here, I decided to fire off a Stone Edge because it's not going to kill, but it's going to put this thing in range of rocks, as long as it's not Roost, which obviously it could be. But right here, I'm just going to fire off a Stone Edge. I do a clean 89%, and he's just going to U-turn out, leaving himself at 2% after the Life Orb. And I do want to apologize for this kind of laggy game. I'll try to fix it for my next one, but replays they've just not been working well for me. I know it's been a problem for a lot of people, but I will definitely try to fix that for the next game. So he just U-turns out into a Celebi, very, very smart, knowing I'm Scarf. So I just go hard into my Mega Latios right here, because I know that he can't do much to me unless if he Nasty Plots there. If he did Nasty Plot there, that would have been a pretty big threat, because he could have Nasty Plotted and then like Shadow Balled or Dazzling Gleamed. Probably Dazzling Gleam, but I just decide to go into it anyway as he baton passes, and right into his Licky Licky. So I'm kind of put in a position where I didn't want to go hard into my Heracross, because just in case he like knocked off, or I don't even know what he could have done there, but I just decided to go hard into my Torterra because I saw this as an opportunity to get my rocks, as he reveals the Sword Stance. So now I'm kind of in a position where I have to start toxicking, or I just have to toxic here. But you guys are going to see he does 37 with a knockoff, and I am max HP, no defense. So I'm pretty sure that damage revealed that he was no attack. I can't remember the calc. So he knocked off the 36, so now I know that I can Synthesis up in Earthquake this versus this thing. And my Torterra, because he did not have the Mega Diancie and I already got my rocks, I did not need it at all. So I just kind of play a little carelessly with it, just Earthquaking here for some damage as he Sword Stance. Now I know he's going to Wish up here, so I think I just fire off another Earthquake, if I'm not mistaken, as he goes into his Celebi. I might I just Earthquake up, or I just Earthquake. So his Celebi is now at 69%. As I does Synthesis here, as I actually saved my Torterra, just because I just went hard into my Latios because I knew he was going to Psychic, and judging by the damage of the Earthquake, Shadow Ball would kill from that range. So right here, I think I just fire off a Shadow Ball, not playing risky at all. As yeah, that turn kind of skipped, but I just Psychic here, getting off some damage as he does Wish. So right here, just fire off another Psychic, knowing that I could get good damage off on everything, and if he protects, that's fine. He's going to rack up more toxic damage, but he does not even protect. So right here, he's kind of on the back seat here, or he's kind of he's forced to go into his Tentacle and spin. and he knew he could live because I'm psychic and Tentacruel has good special bulk. But now he has to sack off his Tentacruel so he can bring back in his Noivern. So right here, I'm at 57%. I'm pretty happy with this health. I didn't have the opportunity really to roost up on much. So right here, I just go into my check and Celesteela. I knew if he roosted there, he would have been back at 52. But then if he flamethrowed, I would have popped my Aqua Berry, obviously, but I would have taken almost nothing from that, and Heavy Slim would have been able to do the job. So right here, this Draco's killing himself the Life Orb, getting Celesteela a passive kill. As now he goes into his Infernape, and I just go hard on my Suicune. Just trying to see what he wants to do. As he actually Flare Blitz, he Flare Blitzes, reveals his Life Orb, and he burns me, which is I was fine with that. I can still be able to wall this as he just U-turns out here, and I just fire off a Scald. No reason to predict. I am up 6-3, and I am very much in the driver's seat. But I do have to keep in mind that his like if he was like a Trick Room Nasty Paw Rodriguez, that could be a threat, and I have to watch out for that. So here I go hard on my Gladios, as he actually makes a nice play on baton passes. But he goes into his Rodriguez, and right here I calced, and as long as he was no investment in special attack, I was guaranteed to live the Shadow Ball. And you guys are gonna see I actually had a crit, and he did send me a spread after the game. He did not have enough. He had 16 special attack, which was not enough to OHKO me from that range. I think it did max of 54. So unless he had Mach Punch on his Infernape, that did not matter. But now you guys are just gonna see Latios just picks up a few more kills, picking up 5 kills in this game, putting it to 9 on the season through 2 games, which is just so good. As we pick up a 6-0 win in week 2 versus Prado. I'm sorry that about that crit, but obviously unless he had Mach Punch, Latios was just gonna pick up those last 2 kills anyway. So that's pretty much it for this game, guys. Very short game. Latios just did a lot of work, as not many teams have solid switch-ins to it, and when you're able to prep around it well, like you're gonna have a very hard time stopping it. But yeah, GG to Prado. Hopefully we can have a better game in the next time we play during later in the season. But that's gonna be it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.